domestic LPG production at the refineries has also been increased by more than 30%. The government has said that there's no shortage of the energy and the retail prices for petrol and diesel will not rise as well. Well, the reason behind this is India's diplomacy, which seems to be yielding results now. Two Indian flagged vessels carrying LPG crossed the war-hit Strait of Hormuz, and today Shivalik and Nanda Devi, these are the two LPG carrying ships, are headed towards the country, and they will be coming to Mundra port and Kandla port, which are in Gujarat, carrying 92,000 tons of the LPG. Now, it's important to note that these vessels are an example of India's diplomacy in discussions with Iran at the same time when the panic booking of LPG cylinder has jumped from 60 lakh to 88 lakh in the last 5 days. These LPG carriers are a reminder of the government's India First policy. So let me take you through the details as far as what the government has said and the assurance that has been given to the people of the country. Assurance number one, there is no shortage of petrol, diesel or LPG. So there's no point in rushing to get them filled at the station as well. Assurance number two, sufficient crude oil and petroleum. Assurance number three, domestic LPG production is up by 31%, and this comes after the direction that the government had given to all the refineries. Assurance number four, 100% of the supply to domestic PNG and CNG has been completely assured. Supply ensured to critical sectors as well. That includes domestic, educational, hospitals as well. Another insurance that India has given, that two vessels which are carrying LPG are coming to India. They will be, in fact, reaching Gujarat in just another few hours is what we're learning. The name of one tanker is Shivalik, another is Nanda Devi, and they're carrying 92,000, kg of the LPG is what we're learning. And we have another breaking update coming in as far as the warships are concerned. Sources have said that Indian Navy warships are on alert. Indian warships have been deployed near the Persian Gulf. Indian warships to assure the assistance to the vessels that are stuck there, and a Navy will be guarding the vessels coming towards India. Now, there are several Indian Navy warships that are deployed near the Persian Gulf. Remember, that is the area where the Strait of Hormuz is, where several of the Indian tankers are currently stuck. In the latest, we are learning that there are several Indian Navy warships that are deployed in that area. They are on standby to provide any assistance or help required by the merchant vessels coming from there towards the country. So that's the help that is going to be provided to the vessels that are carrying crude, LPG, etc. And assistance will be given to them by the Indian Navy warships that are on alert. They are, in fact, there. They will be guarding the vessels coming towards India. Remember, several of the vessels are stuck there, but in the last 24 hours, we are learning that two of the vessels, the name of one is Shivalik, another is Nanda Devi. They're heading towards India, and they will be coming to Mundra and another port in Gujarat. And at that time, when they need security, there are several of the naval warships that are deployed in the Persian Gulf, in and around Strait of Hormuz, to provide assistance to any of the vessel that may need it. Because remember, in the last 2 weeks, there are more than 20 vessels that have come under attack, not concerning India, but concerning to other countries. And that has raised a lot of question on the safety of the vessels. In that backdrop, we are learning that there are several Indian Navy warships that have been deployed near the Persian Gulf, in and around the Strait of Hormuz area, and they are on a standby to provide any assistance or help that could be required by the merchant vessels coming from that area towards India. In fact, that's the latest as far as the Indian Navy warships are concerned. Two of the vessels are heading towards India, and in fact, they will be arriving in India later today. The government has said that two Indian-flagged vessels carrying LPG, they've already crossed the Strait of Hormuz safely and are expected to reach India in the next few days. But as far as the situation in Persian Gulf is concerned, data has been provided by the government. They have said that there are 24 Indian-flagged vessels, out of which two vessels, Shivalik and Nanda Devi, carrying LPG, have already crossed the Strait of Hormuz safely early morning yesterday and are heading towards the country. They are carrying approximately 92,000 metric tons of LPG. Their ports of arrival will be Mundra and Kandla. And now in that backdrop, we're learning that Indian Navy warships are on alert. In fact, they have been deployed near Persian Gulf, and they will assure the assistance that will be given to the vessels there. For more on this, let me go across to former diplomat Ashok Sajjanhar. Thanks so much, sir, for connecting with us and for giving us your time. How do you look at the situation that is unfolding in the Strait of Hormuz? Because 24 of our Indian vessels are stuck there. 2 are heading towards the country. And at this point in time, we're learning that warships have also been deployed there to make sure that they safely arrive in the country. Your take on this?
Yeah, thank you very much. We have, of course, seen that a few of our vessels, tankers, they have come out safely through the Strait of Hormuz. Yesterday, we saw Shivalik and Dev Shakti coming and out of Strait of Hormuz with the support and concurrence of Iran, which has blocked the strait in the context of the ongoing war with the United States and Israel. India has, of course, made the statement that it will be ready to support, ready to escort its vessels from there. But, of course, we need the cooperation of Iran in that context, definitely. But Iran has agreed that as far as its friends are concerned, they will be able to use the Strait of Hormuz without any hindrance. This, I presume, is basically to provide greater confidence and strength to these ships who are coming out of Strait of Hormuz so that they can be escorted safely from there and there are no mishaps. It will provide further strength to our commitment that we are getting our energy supplies from there to meet the urgent needs within the country. I think it's a very good step, and we have to work in tandem, in collaboration with Iran. And we have been receiving support from Iran after the Prime Minister spoke to the Iranian president.
Absolutely.
And our External Affairs Minister has been in touch with his Iranian counterpart, Mr. Abbas Araghchi, and both of them have assured India that its supplies will not be made to suffer.
Absolutely, because 2 of the vessels are heading towards the country, and that is the example of India's diplomacy in discussion with Iran. And as sir, you also pointed out, this comes after the Prime Minister spoke with the Iranian president as well. Thanks so much, sir, for bringing that perspective on the crucial Strait of Hormuz. Let me also go across to my colleague Srinjoy, who's been tracking all the details. Srinjoy, government has given data that there are total 24 Indian flag vessels, out of which 2 vessels are heading towards the country. And at that time, we are also learning that the warships have also been deployed in and around that area to ensure that the vessels that are coming back to the country, they remain secured. What more are you learning about this?
Well, this is what Times Now reported 3 days ago. And you were on air at that time. So it's very clear that what Times Now had said, that Indian warships are all on alert, and if necessary, if there is government clearance, if the government of India feels that there is a need for Indian warships to escort ships out of the area, then the Navy will do it. But at this point, it was clearly said that the Iranians and the Americans and Israelis, of course, are also realizing that India is not involved in this war. India has no role in this war. And as a result, since India is a friendly country, it should not be a problem for the Indian Navy to escort ships out. And the Indian Navy would not be fired upon, as these countries are friendly countries.
So Times Now was the first channel to bring you that update that several of the vessels are stuck there. But as far as India and Iran are concerned, they are in fact holding discussion and ensuring that there is safety and that they safely wade through the water of Strait of Hormuz and arrive in the country. In fact, stay on with us, Srinjoy. We have another breaking update coming in as far as the escalating tensions in the West Asia is concerned. A reaction that is coming from Iran's foreign minister. He has said that the Strait of Hormuz is not completely closed. He clarified that the passage is restricted only for tankers and the ships that are belonging to Iran's enemies and their allies, while other vessels may still pass through the waterway. So that's a big statement that is coming from Iran's foreign minister. He said that the Strait of Hormuz is not completely blocked. It is only blocked for the enemies of Iran. So essentially talking about US and its allies. On that, let me once again bring in my colleague Srinjoy. Srinjoy, he's talking about US clearly saying that Strait of Hormuz is open but closed for those who are the enemies of Iran and also their allies as well. Now, this is quite important because this comes at a time when Donald Trump has also said that all the countries should come together and make sure that the tankers are able to pass through as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned. Put this into perspective for us.
The Iranians say that their friends can use the Straits of Hormuz and their enemies cannot. Now, in these last few days, we have heard reports of several Chinese vessels going through the Straits of Hormuz. The Chinese, as you know, are friends of the Iranians, and the Chinese tankers or Chinese vessels have gone through. So have Indian vessels gone through the Straits of Hormuz. So the Iranians are clearly differentiating between friend and enemy. The friends go through the Straits of Hormuz, the enemies do not, and they face fire. That's the point that the Iranians are making, and several ships, several tankers have already been attacked. Several tankers have been set on fire. So this is going on for quite a while. You have yourself said that President Trump has threatened to attack Kyrgyz Island and the oil facilities in Kyrgyz Island in case American and other ships were targeted. They have been targeted. But the warning is there. We have to see what Iran does now. Will they continue to target ships that belong to the Americans and other ships, and leaving aside ships of the Chinese and the Indians and other friends they have? So that's a decision that the Iranians have made, and we have to see how the Americans react to it. He's already spoken about getting the French and the British and the Chinese and the Japanese and the Koreans to patrol the Straits of Hormuz.
All right.
Will any of these countries agree is also a question.
All right, so it remains to be seen how this really pans out. Will the attacks continue? Because a very important clarification that is now coming from Iran, that the Strait of Hormuz is not completely closed. It is only closed for the enemies of Iran, alluding to the United States. Thanks so much, Srinjoy, for getting us all those details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this.